Most people in their 20s waste the most valuable decade of their entire life when it comes to money. They chase trends, they overspend, and they push off the decisions that actually matter. And trust me, I know, because I was one of them. I ignored my mentors, blew money on Lamborghinis, bottle service, and things that didn't move me forward. And honestly, I made almost every financial mistake that you shouldn't make in your 20s. But here's the crazy part. Those mistakes costed me years of my life, and they costed hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, and a ton of stress. And the only reason that I can sit here today is because I eventually figured out what actually works. So fast forward to now. I own multiple businesses doing 7 and even 8 figures a year, and the principles that I'm about to share with you aren't from a textbook. They're from hard-earned lessons that I personally lived through. So if you apply them, you can skip the traps, avoid the learning curve, and put yourself decades ahead of everybody else your age. I'm talking about the difference between stressing about bills at 40 years old or having the freedom to live completely on your own terms. So stick around, because in this video, I'm going to share with you these 7 money principles that help me build multiple businesses and millions of dollars before the age of 30. And if they worked for me, I promise you, they will 100% be able to work for you. Your 20s are your financial cheat code because of compounding. You know, a lot of people say that compounding is the 8th wonder of the world. Here's a wake-up call. Data from the Federal Reserve's 2022 survey of consumer finances shows the median net worth for households under 35 is just $39,040. And that means that half of young households are starting below that number. So every decision that you make right now matters. So what exactly is compound interest? Think of it like this. You're not just earning money on what you put in. You're earning money on the money that you already earned. Your dollars make more dollars, and then those dollars start making money too. Here's a simple trick. The rule of 72. Take 72, divide it by your annual return, and that is how many years it takes for your money to double. At an 8% return, your money doubles about every 9 years. So $1,000 today could turn into $2,000 in 9 years. 4,000 in 18 years, and 8,000 in 27 years, without you ever investing another dollar and without you ever doing anything. That's why if you invest $500 a month, starting at 22 years old, you'll have over $1.7 million by the time you turn 65. Now, if you start that same plan at 32 years old, you'll end up with less than half of that, about $730,000. So even with a modest contribution, say $100 a month, you unlock decades of growth. All right, now let's talk about budgeting. It's not about giving up, it's about gaining freedom. And the numbers back it up. Strategies like the 50-30-20 rule lay the groundwork. 50% of your take-home pay goes to needs, 30% goes to wants, and 20% goes to savings and paying off debt. And it really is a phenomenal starting point. If rent or student loans hit hard in your city, tweak the percentages. Maybe it's a 60-20-20, a 70-20-10. All that matters is that you track and control your cash. Here's what's wild. 66% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, and nearly 50% of credit card holders are carrying balances. That is grinding your paycheck away with no plan and no buffer. Think about this. The average American household spends about $6,440 a month. Now, if you applied 20% of that to savings and debt, that would be over $1,200 a month, building your future instead of letting it slip away. But here's the kicker. 89% of Americans say that they save regularly, yet 66% don't have a retirement-specific account. And that number jumps to 73% for the Gen Z. People are saving, but not in the right places. That's your edge. Budget with clarity, not guilt. Put your money where it serves you. Pay the bills, live intentionally, save aggressively, and let the rest fuel your future growth. And once you've got that plan in place, the next step is to protect yourself. Because all of the budgeting in the world will not help you if one unexpected expense completely wipes you out. That is where the emergency fund comes in. So let me be blunt. Budgeting means nothing if one surprise bill totally wipes you out. And that is ultimately where an emergency fund isn't optional. It is 100% essential. Here's the real look. Only 46% of Americans have saved enough to cover 3 months of expenses. And that leaves 30% with some savings but not enough, and even worse, 24% with no emergency fund at all. To make that more personal, 37% of Americans had to tap into their savings for an unexpected need in the past 12 months. And if that money's not there, you're not scrambling, you're totally sinking. Only 41% of Americans would use savings to cover a $1,000 surprise expense, while 43% would rely on credit cards or loans, even with sky-high interest rates. So here's the truth. Your emergency fund is your peace of mind fund. Start simple and build up 3 months of necessary expenses. And if that feels unreachable, then aim for $500 or $1,000 to begin. But you have to begin. Because once that fund is in place, you can stop reacting and you can actually start planning for your future. And with your safety net built, you're already ready to tackle the next financial barrier: high interest debt, before it eats your literal progress alive. High interest debt is financial quicksand. The longer you stay in it, the harder it is going to be to climb out. According to Wallet Hub, the average credit card debt for people between 18 and 35 is $4,070. Even on the lower end, that's nearly $4,000 dragging down young adults right when they should be trying to build wealth. Now combine that with today's average credit card APR over 20%, and the picture gets even uglier. That $4,000 balance could easily cost you $800 to $1,000 a year in interest alone, only if you make the minimum payment, which a lot of people are doing. So how do you dig yourself out? Well, there's really two main strategies that you can do. The debt avalanche. Okay, here's the pros. You'll save the most money on high interest and pay off debt faster overall. The cons, it can feel like delayed gratification because you might spend months attacking a big high interest balance before you see it disappear. So your motivation can ultimately start to fade away. Or the debt snowball. And the pros are that you get quick wins by knocking out smaller balances first, which builds momentum and confidence. The cons, you'll usually pay a little bit more in interest and it may take longer overall compared to the avalanche method. I don't care which strategy you use, you just need to pick one and you need to stick to it. Because until you eliminate high interest debt, your money is working harder for the banks than it is for you. And once you've freed yourself from that burden, the next step is to make sure your money never goes to waste again. The easiest way to do that, put your wealth building on autopilot. And that's where automation comes in. One of the smartest financial hacks that I've ever learned is this: automate everything that you possibly can, no questions asked. Set up automatic transfers as soon as you get paid that go right into your savings or your retirement account, or low-cost index funds. Treat savings like a non-negotiable bill that goes out before you spend a dime. Here's the crazy part. According to a survey cited by NASDAQ and Yahoo Finance, only 17% of people use automatic transfers or deposits as their primary method for building savings. That means that 83% of people are relying on willpower. And that is why so many people fail to save consistently. Think about this. If you set up just $200 a month automatically that went into a high yield savings account earning 4.5% interest in 5 years, you'd have over $13,000 saved without even thinking about it. Raise that to $500 a month and now you're looking at nearly $34,000 in 5 years. That's how small, consistent actions snowball into a ton of progress. For example, automating just $25 a month in a 4.5% interest account can grow steadily towards your dream trip or financial milestone. Behavioral science explains why it works. Human brains are famously bad at willpower, and I can attest to that. We're wired for right now. Temptations distract us. Fatigue wins, and I'll do it tomorrow becomes I'll never do it. But automation flips the script by removing that decision entirely. Here's a rough visual. Before automation, paycheck hits. Temptation hits harder. You spend first, maybe save later, if at all. After automation, paycheck hits, your money is already split immediately. X amount of percent into savings, X amount into investments, X amount to spending. The only thinking that you do is what's after that. Automation makes saving effortless, but saving is just step one. If you really want to build actual wealth, you've got to invest your money smart. Keep it simple. If your job offers a 401k match, max it out. It is literally free money. Open a Roth IRA for tax-free growth and favor low-cost diversified index funds or ETFs. And here's the math that hits home. Many millennials estimate they'll need around $850,000 to retire comfortably. But most experts actually suggest it's probably in the neighborhood of $1.5 million or even more, once you factor in rising costs and inflation over a long enough period of time. And that is why compounding through smart investing is ultimately a non-negotiable. The bottom line is that you have to stop trying to outsmart the market. Stick with proven, simple methods that deliver steady growth over the course of time. The last principle might be the most underrated, but it impacts almost every part of your financial future. Building a strong credit score. Your credit is basically your financial reputation. It determines whether you can buy a house, lease a car, or even get approved to rent an apartment. And it's not just access, it's ultimately cost. So take this example. On a $300,000 mortgage, somebody with a 760 or higher credit score might lock in a 6.5% interest rate at the time of filming this video. Someone with a 620 credit score might pay closer to 8%. Now that difference adds up to nearly $300 more per month, or over $100,000 extra over the course of the life of the loan. So how do you actually build your credit score? Well, there really are 3 simple rules. The number one way to build a phenomenal credit score is to never miss a payment. I know it sounds really cliche and really simple, but I'm telling you, one missed payment can massively affect your credit score for years to come. I don't know if you know, but your payment history makes up 35% of your overall credit score. The next thing you want to do is to keep your credit utilization low. Ideally, way under 30%, but personally, I keep mine under 10%. You do not want to ultimately carry balances that you cannot pay off. This will affect your credit score in a very negative way. You have to remember, credit affects everything. Cars, homes, credit cards, insurance premiums, literally every aspect of life. The earlier you build a solid credit score, the more money you're going to save and the more financial doors that will be able to open for you. So there you have it. Those are the 7 money principles to build wealth in your 20s. Start early and let compounding work for you. Budget with purpose. Protect yourself with an emergency fund. Eliminate high interest debt. Automate your savings, invest wisely, and build a great credit score that opens up tons of doors instead of closes them. Most people in their 20s will ignore these. Please don't. But if you take action right now, you'll be setting yourself up for years and even decades to come. If you got value from the video, do me a huge favor, hit the like button, subscribe, and drop a comment down below with which principle you're gonna start with today, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.